Meralco to raise its rates by 9 centavos per kilowatt hour this month.
The horse himself, Secretary Jokno. He's the one, the boss in the budget thing.
Malacanang expresses confidence that Budget Secretary Benjamin Diokno can explain the administration's 2019 budget proposal amid issues on alleged pork barrel insertions. And stricter no loading and unloading policy to take effect under a new EDSA traffic SAR. Good evening. The Manila Electric Company, or Meralco, is set to raise its rates by 9 centavos per kilowatt hour this month. Here's why from Monokson.
Customers of the Manila Electric Company, or Meralco, will see an increase in their electricity billings this month. According to Meralco, a 9 centavo per kilowatt hour will be imposed this month, which translates to an additional 18 pesos for those consuming 200 kilowatts monthly, and as much as 45 pesos for those using 500 kilowatts per month. Meralco says the cost of electricity from contracted power generators has soared despite the lower wholesale electricity spot market prices. The power company explains it only gets 20% of its electricity from WESM, and the remaining percentage is supplied by independent power producers. Meralco also clarifies the looming rate adjustment has nothing to do with the movement in world oil prices and impending crude oil production cut.
Dahil hindi na tayo masyadong gumagamit ng oil-fired power plant sa Luzon grid. Sa Meralco, around 60% of our supply uses malampaya natural gas.
Food vendor Sonny Domingo, however, is unfazed over the power rate hike announcement, believing that decreasing commodity prices will help offset their electricity bill.
Pero kung bababa yung iba, pwede na rin nga siguro yung ibang mga bilihin kung bababa, di syempre kung ang kuryente naman na yan, okay lang yan siguro.
Meralco, meanwhile, continues to urge its customers to conserve power amid cooling temperatures this month. It also encourages its customers to download the Meralco mobile app that will enable them to pay their electricity bills online. By January 2019, Meralco expects power rates to go down due to adjustment in the outage allowance of power plants.
Ito naman nagdaang taon, mukhang maganda naman yung naging performance ng mga planta. Hindi naman nila na-maximize yung outages na nakaalat sa kanila. So, posible din na maging factor ito.
Mon Hokson, UNTV News and Rescue, Pasig City.
A new round of oil adjustments will greet motorists tomorrow after 8 weeks of consecutive rollbacks. Here's why from Bernard Dadis.
Local oil firms are poised to implement mixed adjustments in pump prices this week after the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries agreed to cut output to balance oil markets. Based on the advisory of most local oil companies, the price of gasoline will increase by 40 centavos per liter beginning Tuesday. But the prices of diesel and kerosene will go down by 10 centavos and 45 centavos respectively. The looming gasoline price hike will effectively break the 8-week fall in oil prices amid uncertainties over the US-China trade war and signs of increased global crude production.
Siyempre, nag-react ang international market dahil ng meeting na nangyari last December 6 ng OPEC and non-OPEC partners regarding do sa proposal nila na magkaroon ng 1 million barrels per day na cap, diba, sa kanilang production.
But the Department of Energy believes that consumers are yet to feel the full impact of crude exporters' plan to cut production output. The DOE expects more price adjustments once the plan to slash down production by 1.2 million barrels per day takes effect on January until July 2019.
Kaya lang nga, dahil doon sa ng OPEC na magkaroon ng production cut, apektado ang supply. So kapag may supply disruption, apektado ang presyo.
Oil-producing countries have agreed to lower production due to persistent supply overhang that weigh down international crude oil prices. Based on the Petroleum Status Report, the U.S. commercial crude inventories increased to 11.7 million barrels per day this year, from 2.5 million barrels in 2016. Non-OPEC members Russia churned out 11.4 million barrels per day this year but is planning to cut daily output by 2%. Bernard Dadis, UNTV News and Rescue, Philippines.
Senator Panfilo Lacson warns on the dominance of pork barrel system in 2019 that will affect poor Filipinos. But the Budget Department insists that there are no pork barrel insertions in the proposed budget for next year. Nel Maribuhok tells us why.
The death of Filipinos will all the more increase due to pork barrel system. According to Senator Panfilo Lacson, even those who are just being born now are already in debt of 71,000 pesos each. This is because of the borrowings that the government has to take to fund the infrastructure projects and to pay past debts. According to the senator, the need to increase funding was big because of the corrupt pork barrel system. Because of this, Senator Lacson warns on the apparent dominance of the pork barrel in next year. The senator already divulged that there are pork barrel insertions on the proposed budget. Two lawmakers in the lower house allegedly have billions of pesos of pork barrel for the projects in their districts. This is apart from the 60 million pesos fund for each of the 297 congressmen. But the Department of Budget and Management insists that there are no pork barrel insertions in their proposed budget, which the lower house has the power to amend.
Hindi ko sinabing hindi pork, but that's their prerogative, no? Ang nagiging pork kung nakikialam sila sa implementation ng project.
Jokno also said that one should look into the correlation between the country's debt standing and its economic status.
Hindi naman importante yung level of debt, no? Ang mas mahalaga yung debt to GDP ratio. Magkano ba yung utang natin kumpara sa laki ng ekonomiya natin?
Nel Maribuhok, UNTV News and Rescue, Senate of the Philippines.
Malacanang believes that Budget Secretary Benjamin Diokno will be able to defend the proposed 2019 national budget during the question hour that the House of Representatives is planning to hold on Tuesday. The palace also insists the Duterte administration cannot be faulted in the delay of the bill's passage. Rosa Licos tells us why.
Malacanang is confident that Budget Secretary Benjamin Diokno can defend the submitted proposed national budget for 2019. Diokno has been summoned to attend the question hour of the House of Representatives to discuss issues concerning the proposal.
The horse himself, Secretary Diokno, he's the one, the boss in the budget thing.
Based on reports, some congressmen are blaming the Department of Budget and Management for the delay in the passage of the General Appropriations Act. Some even linked the agency to questionable budget insertions. But Malacanang says the Executive Department should not be blamed for delays in the bill's passage as it submitted the proposal on time.
Well, you must remember that the national budget has been submitted on the day the song was delivered. So I do not think you can fault the executive branch. It's the duty of Congress to deliberate on the matter.
House Minority Leader Danilo Suarez has confirmed that the question hour of the lower house on Tuesday afternoon will push through to discuss issues surrounding the 3.575 trillion pesos 2019 proposed national budget. Questions have popped up when Senator Panfilo Lacson disclosed that at least 2.4 billion pesos was allegedly added to the budget for the 2nd District of Pampanga that is under House Speaker Gloria Arroyo. Suarez says the House leadership had rejected Diokno's request to postpone the said question hour. Diokno, however, has yet to confirm his attendance. Co-op NATCO Party List Representative Anthony Bravo says they will decide on their next action if Diokno fails to attend the hearing.
Well, we will look at the power of contempt if it is applicable to him. But still, it will be the leadership's call.
Rosa Licoz, UNTV News and Rescue, Malacanang.
The House of Representatives ordered the Department of Transportation to defer plans of phasing out old truck models. Grace Casin tells us why.
The House Committee on Metro Manila Development on Monday approved a motion ordering the Department of Transportation to suspend the Department Order 2017-009 phasing out trucks 15 years old and above. According to the committee, the suspension was due to the lack of comprehensive study on its implementation by the agencies enforcing the order.
Was there studies made prior to issuance of this department order?
Honestly po,
Studies that reflect that after 15 years of certain vehicles in the country resulted to accidents, breakdowns of trucks.
on my personal knowledge po, wala po. Hindi ko po alam sa DOTR. Pero ang alam ko po nag-trigger nito, yung mga na dumadami aksidente ng units.
Corpus argues that the vehicle 15 years old and above are already prone to accidents since the metals could be worn out already due to age.
Kino-consider din po kasi dyan yung metal fatigue. Kahit po sabihin natin na kunyari ay ang isang unit ay dumaan kay Belo, nagpaganda, pero yung kalamnan niya ay medyo marupok na din.
But the House panel and the group of truckers are not convinced by LTFRB's argument.
Yung na-aksidenteng nakikita natin, nakakatulog lang po. Yung pong mga drivers.
Ang problema po yung disiplina eh. Disiplina ng mga driver natin. Kung minsan po, kung makipagbalagbagan sa karsada, akala nyo sidecar ang dala eh.
For Alliance of Philippine Brokers and Truckers, the safety standard of the vehicle is not measured by its age.
There could very well be trucks that are 5 years old and yet not be roadworthy. So it appears that the standard that's being used is not reasonable.
The House Committee suggests that the DOTR should work more on purchasing new motor vehicle inspection service units to make sure that the vehicles are properly checked before traveling.
The Congress 2 years ago, we were not remiss. We allocated funds for the purchase of MVIS. However, because of the bureaucratic delay of your office, hindi po nare-realize ang beauty at implementation ng MVIS.
Castro has ordered the committee secretary to notify the DOTR of the suspension of the order on truck phase-out. Grace Casin, UNTV News and Rescue, House of Representatives.
The AFP Cavaliers rout the DA Food Masters, while the Senate Defenders spoil the hopes of NHA builders after their battle in the ongoing UNTV Cup Season 7 second round eliminations. Bernard Dadis tells us why.
The AFP Cavaliers remains the top team to beat as the end of the second round of eliminations of the UNTV Cup 7th edition draws closer. The AFP maintained its lead after routing the DA Food Masters 79-73 in a match held last Thursday. Darwin Cordero was hailed as the best player of the game after firing 24 points with 3 rebounds, 2 assists, and 1 steal. The Cavaliers now hold 7 wins and 1 loss record, while the Food Masters were pushed down to the bottom of the standings after absorbing 6 losses and winning only 3 of their game. The Malacanang PSC Kamal team meanwhile tightly clings onto the second spot after narrowly pounding the PITC Global Traders 69-64. Michael Ignario and big man Martin Lloyd Antonio shared the best player of the game title after firing 15 and 16 points respectively. The Kamal team now holds 6 wins and 1 loss under its belt, while the Global Traders fell to the 6th rank after absorbing defeat for the 4th time. UNTV Cup Season 6 champions Senate Defenders, on the other hand, spoiled the hopes of the NHA builders to take home the crown this season after their explosive match on Sunday. The NHA lost to the Senate in overtime 98-97, with Marlon Legaspi and Harley Nang scoring the game-winning shots after firing 22 and 24 points respectively. Legazpi and Nang were hailed as the best players of the game. Bernard Daddies, UNTV News and Rescue, Philippines.
Welcome back to Y News, and here are the headlines. President Rodrigo Duterte to skip historic handover of Balangiga bells in Pasay City on Tuesday.
In my opinion, there is a continuing rebellion. There is actual rebellion ongoing.
Senate likely to consider request for a second extension of martial law in Mindanao. And President Duterte orders for the creation of a national task force to end local communist armed conflict. President Rodrigo Duterte will skip the handover ceremony of the historic Balangiga bells that are set to arrive in the country from the U.S. on Tuesday. Rosalie Cos tells us why.
The historical Balangiga bells are finally returning home after it was taken by American troops as trophy from a town in eastern Samar during a war in 1901. The bells are expected to arrive in the country from the United States tomorrow, and a formal ceremony has been set in Pasay City for its handing over. However, the Malacanang has announced that President Rodrigo Duterte will skip the rites on Tuesday. According to Defense Secretary Delfin Lorenzana, the President will instead attend the turnover of the historic bells in Balangiga, Eastern Samar on December 15.
Dahil pupunta na siya sa Balangiga, sa town ng Balangiga.
Apo, kailan po?
Sa 15.
Apo.
Originally, hindi siya pupunta sa Balangiga town.
The handover ceremony on Tuesday at the Villamor Air Base in Pasay City will be attended by Lorenzana and other American and Filipino officials.
I will go around with the ambassador Song Kim. Tingnan namin yung bell, di ba? Then I will sign a document says that I'm accepting the bells from them. Iko sa kanya, then there will be 3 speeches. One from Secretary Matis to be read by one of his representatives, then Ambassador Song Kim, then me.
Photographs provided by the U.S. Embassy in the Philippines show the bells being pulled out from display and readied for transport from the U.S. Air Force bases in Cheyenne, Wyoming to the Philippines. Photos of 3 Balangiga bells were also sent, showing their reunion in Cadena Air Base, Okinawa, Japan. Defense Secretary Lorenzana says this event will mark a significant moment in the history of the Philippines and U.S. ties.
That will be a closure. Kasi the first request or the first longing for us to bring back the bell was made by the leader of those who attacked the Americans by the name of Eugenio Daza. In 1935, when he was still alive.
Meanwhile, a negotiation is underway as to whether or not President Duterte will proceed to visiting the United States next year, now that the Balangiga bells have returned.
Si Presidente, sabi niya, I do not hate America, I just hate some of the people there. Pinag-usapan, si Ambassador Robles is here, is trying to talk to the President to go there next year.
Rosalie Cos, UNTV News and Rescue.
Some senators are likely to consider the request of President Rodrigo Duterte to extend the imposition of martial law in Mindanao for a second time. Let's find out why from Nel Maribuho.
Security officials met with members of the Senate today to defend their recommendation of extending the implementation of martial law in Mindanao for another year. Present in the executive session were Defense Secretary Delfin Lorenzana, Interior Secretary Eduardo Año, and AFP Chief of Staff General Carlito Galvez Jr. Senate President Vicente Soto III says he is likely to consider the recommendation due to threats of rebellion.
In my opinion, there is a continuing rebellion. There is actual rebellion ongoing.
Meanwhile, Senator Ralph Recto is in favor of the extension, however, not for 1 year but for 6 months only.
What is appealing is that they're saying that they would be able to wipe out the Abu Sayyaf if we give them a 1-year extension and to reduce the capability of the CPP-NPA. And that is an appealing proposition to extend martial law But then, why not 6 months?
According to Soto, the Congress is likely to convene in a joint session on Wednesday to discuss the proposed one-year extension of martial law. It was in May 23, 2017 when the entire Mindanao region was placed under martial law following attacks from mounted terrorist group in Marawi City. It was extended to a year until December 31, 2017 and another extension until the last day of this year. Nel Maribuhok, UNTV News and Rescue, Senate of the Philippines.
President Rodrigo Duterte orders the creation of a national task force to end local communist armed conflict. Meanwhile, he is also determined to end terrorism and violence in Sulu. Rosalie Cos will tell us why.
President Rodrigo Duterte has signed Executive Order Number 70 to institutionalize the whole-of-nation approach in attaining inclusive and sustainable peace throughout the country. This includes the creation of a national task force that will end the local communist armed conflict. The National Task Force will be composed of the President of the Philippines as the chair, the National Security Advisor as the vice chair, and more than 20 members comprised of secretaries and chiefs of various government agencies and 2 representatives from the private sector. Within 6 months from the issuance of the order, the task force shall formulate and implement the whole-of-nation approach peace framework in coordination with national government agencies, local government units, civil society, and other stakeholders. This will include a mechanism for localized peace engagements and negotiations. Aside from this, President Duterte has also once again mentioned his determination to end violence in Jolo, Sulu. A division of the Philippine Army will be sent there.
No, in a few days, I'm transferring 1 division sa Jolo. Nagsawa na ako nung fortnight ago. Usap kami ni Del, and I communicated to them my disappointment kung bakit gano'n na sige na lang tayo. Mamatay ng 4, nakapatay tayo ng 1, makapatay ng 4. It's an attrition thing. Natapusin na natin.
One division is comprised of around 4,000 to 6,000 soldiers. Defense Secretary Delfin Lorenzana said the number can be further increased. He said it is important to have permanent presence of military in the area. The government targets to end the problem in 2 years' time.
Permanent presence there dahil ang complaint ng mga LGUs doon sa mga tao, they are reluctant to support us 100% dahil we come and go. Baka more kasi baka mayroon pang Marines dyan eh. 3 infantry division, 3 infantry brigades and 1 marine brigade. That should be enough to participate this. We will do this maybe 1 year or 2 years.
Rosalie Cos, UNTV News and Rescue, Malacanang.
The Philippine National Police tightens its watch on 15 areas in the country identified as election hotspots. Aiko Miguel tells us why.
The Philippine National Police has ordered all its units to be on guard after identifying initial 15 hotspot areas in line with the upcoming midterm elections. The areas of concern include cities and municipalities in the Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao, Bicol, Zamboanga Peninsula, and in Regions 2, 4A, and 10. According to PNP spokesperson Chief Superintendent Benigno Dorana Jr., the areas were partially identified during the Joint National Peace and Order Council and 4th Regional Peace and Order Council cluster meetings held in Davao City last November 26.
3 months ago, nagsabi si Chief PNP ang kanyang direktiba sa mga kapulisan, sa mga chiefs of police at sa mga city directors, provincial director, huwag na kayong maghintay. Napupuntahan kayo ng mga local chief executives and other candidates who will be running in next year's election. Puntahan nyo na to offer your services, and to assess whether they need protective security coverage or not.
The PNP says a place can be coded as poll hotspots if there is intense rivalry among its political candidates, presence of private armed, criminal, rebel or terrorist groups, and has high incidence of violence in the past election. Rheena says the number of hotspot areas is expected to go up as the election draw near.
The level of security threat may change over time until we come to.
Aiko Miguel, UNTV News and Rescue, Philippines.
Former Senator Ramon Rivera Jr. is preparing to join the campaign trail for his bid to return to the Senate in 2019. Revilla also vows to redeem his family's name after his acquittal of plunder charges in relation to the pork barrel scam. Victor Cosare will tell us why.
Former Senator Ramon Rivera Jr. makes a public appearance days after the Sandigan Bayan 1st Division decided to acquit him of plunder in connection with the Priority Development Assistance Fund or PDAF scandal. Revilla visited Bacoor City Hall this morning to meet employees and his supporters. In a speech during a flag-raising ceremony, Revilla maintained that he never accepted kickbacks from projects funded by his pork barrel during his stint in the Senate and that his release was just the result of justice working in the country.
Lahat po ng mayroon ako ay bunga ng aking dugo at pawis sa pag-aartista. Simula pa lamang na ako'y 10 taong gulang. At yan nga ang napatunayan ng hukuman na wala akong ninakaw ni sentimo mula sa taong bayan.
He also lamented the ordeal that he and his family went through in the past 4 years while he stayed inside the Philippine National Police Custodial Center in Camp Crame. Revilla vows to redeem his family's name after his acquittal.
Hindi po biro ang mayurakan ng pangalan. Hindi biro ang manakawan ng halos 5 taon. Pinaniwala ang mga publiko na isa kang magnanakaw. Gayong alam nila sa kanilang mga sarili na imbento lang ang lahat ng kaso.
Revilla is looking forward to a new chapter of his life following his acquittal. Revilla is running again for senator in the upcoming 2019 midterm elections.
Gusto ko na pong kalimutan ang mapait na kabanatang ito sa aking buhay. Mas gusto ko pong tumingin sa hinaharap upang may pagpatuloy ang nabalang kong paglilingkod sa ating mga kababayan.
Victor Cosare, UNTV News and Rescue, Philippines.
Senator Antonio Trillanes IV has posted bail for libel charges filed by presidential son and former Davao City Vice Mayor Paolo Duterte. Trillanes posted a 96,000 peso bail at the Pasay City Regional Trial Court Branch 118 earlier for 4 counts of libel. The case stemmed from Trillanes' statement to the members of media last year, accusing the younger Duterte of extortion involving ride-hailing firms. Trillanes will be traveling on Tuesday to attend a speaking engagement in the U.S. and Europe after the Makati City Regional Trial Court allowed him to leave the country. Meanwhile, Justice Secretary Menardo Guevara said he already ordered the Bureau of Immigration to allow Trillanes to travel abroad if there is no whole departure order issued by any court. The House of Representatives skipped the deliberations of the resolution of both houses number 15 or the proposed charter change. The session adjourned at past 7 in the evening without putting a vote on the resolution. House Committee on Constitutional Amendments Chairman Vicente Veloso earlier stated that they target to pass the proposed charter change on the third and final reading today. There is no explanation given why the resolution was not tackled today. Congress will be on session until Wednesday, December 12. The Philippine Commission on Human Rights launches a citizens group as it commemorates the International Declaration of Human Rights. The Duterte administration, meanwhile, insists it strongly supports programs promoting human rights in the country. Ray Pelayo tells us why.
Coinciding with the commemoration of the 70th International Declaration of Human Rights, the Commission on Human Rights launched on Monday the group Citizens for Promoting Human Rights. The group aims at helping all victims of human rights in the country, and it is supported by several prominent personalities like former Foreign Affairs Secretary Albert Del Rosario and former Education Secretary Armin Luistro. The idea, according to Chairperson Chito Gascon, was realized after the lower house of Congress threatened to give the CHR only 1,000 peso budget in 2017 for being critical of the administration's war on drugs.
The killings related to the war on drugs remain alarming to us because up to now, very few have been held accountable.
Gascon criticized the Department of Justice's slow-paced process of charging identified perpetrators of human rights violations. He argued that from the 20,000 cases associated with the administration's war on drugs, around 1,500 are still in review by the agency, while 20 cases have already been endorsed to the DOJ.
We have actually already concluded some and have made recommendations to the Department of Justice, but the Department of Justice is slow in filing charges.
Meanwhile, the Duterte administration insists that it is strongly in support of programs promoting human rights in the country. In a message by Executive Secretary Salvador Miljardea, he said the government is continuously working to protect the human rights of law-abiding citizens by also strengthening actions against criminality, corruption, terrorism, rebellion, and illegal drugs. Also, the government is determined to improve the lives of the Filipino people through effective implementations of programs regarding education, health, employment, housing, food security, and other basic services. Ray Pilayo, UNTV, News and Rescue, Quezon City.
The next batch of Season 2 Discoveries of each camp are ready for the vocal battle starting tonight. Leslie Leomboen tells us why.
The elimination for each camp's first batch of Wishcoveries in Wishcovery Season 2 The Singer and the Song has ended last night. Singing hopefuls of Camp Moy Ortiz were last to battle against each other. Jayco Elad went first with his much-prepared performance.
Very strong male falsetto. Ang ganda ng male. Naka-falsetto siya pero lalaki pa rin ang dating, no? Very masculine.
Russell John Prudente also impressed Moy with his performance.
Magaling rin siyang kumulot-kulot. Malakas rin ang boses, very strong voice.
Meanwhile, Moy gave advice to eliminated Wishcovery Kathleen Labrador.
Di ko ipipilit sa'yo kahit na nalilipas.
Song choice is very important. So next time you do an audition or you perform for your next concert or choose a strong song.
The vocal battle of the next batch of Wishcoveries begins tonight, starting with Camp Rani Raimundo. Leslie Longmoan, UNTV News and Rescue, Philippines.
Up next on Y News. Sudan state governor and officials are killed in a helicopter crash. Saudi foreign minister rules out extraditing suspects in Jamal Khashoggi case. And China warns of consequences if Canada refuses to release Huawei's chief financial officer. And those are the reasons behind the stories in the first and second part of our newscast. Y News returns with William Thio. I'm Angelo Castro III. Good evening.